Hello everyone, are you ready for another anime recap? Then subscribe right now to this Anime Plots YouTube channel and watch this full video. Did you subscribe? Okay, let's start the video.
Ryuichi and Kotaro are two inseparable brothers who lost their parents in a plane crash. So they are taken in by the chairwoman of a high school, who has also lost her family in the same accident. However, she doesn't want them to be her new family. She wants Ryuichi to be the school's babysitter. He has experience caring for his brothers since infancy. She directs her secretary, Saikawa, to accompany the brothers to the school's daycare room. Saikawa informs Ryuichi that he has been tasked with caring for the children of the school's employees, and that the babysitter club was formed to help the female teachers. When they enter, they meet Yusaida, the only member of the daycare staff. He greets Ryuichi and Kotaro and introduces them to the other children, who go by the names Taka, Kirin, Takuma, Kazuma, and Midori. The teachers arrive at night to pick up their children, but Taka is the only one who is still waiting. Ryuichi expects his mother to arrive, but is surprised when his brother arrives to pick him up instead. Ryuichi tends to Kotaro, who has been quiet all day, after they leave. He panics when he realizes he has a high fever, then rushes outside after Taka's older brother and asks him if he will drive him to the nearest hospital. Ryuichi is informed by the doctor that the fever was most likely caused by the stress of a change in environment. When venturing out for some fresh air, he begins to notify his parents, but then realizes they are no longer alive. When the chairwoman appears and comforts him, she recalls the funeral for all the plane crash victims, noting that the only people who did not cry were them and her. She gently reminds him that he is not alone and that he does not have to be strong all by himself. Ryuichi returns inside to collect Kotaro, who is feeling much better, and they return home. The following morning, the chairwoman instructs the routine to get up immediately, despite the fact that it is 5 o'clock in the morning, and informs them that breakfast and lunch are already prepared. She also gave Ryuichi a brand new uniform, which he is delighted with and proud of. On his way to class, he notices people staring at him oddly and laughing. He runs into Kamitani and inquires if there is anything unusual about him. He tells him to turn around, and it turns out that all of the daycare children had been following him. A girl called Maria gives Ryuichi chewing out about the children, so he does his best to round them up as quickly as he can and take them back to daycare. Maria is the top student in the advanced class and prioritizes her studies. She brings Taka's lunch to daycare. Ms. Kamitani had asked her to bring it because her son had forgotten. Yusaida takes advantage of the situation by pretending to be ill and asking Maria to take over for him. Because of the incident in the hallway, the children are initially afraid of Maria. She breaks down and begins to cry, claiming that studying is all she is good at and that the harder she studies, the more alone she becomes. The kids rush over to comfort her, and they all cry together. Ryuichi later asks Kotaro if he wants to go to the zoo. However, there are kids over here, and before he can blink they are all begging him to go. Yusaida tells him that he should take everyone and that he will accompany him because he can get paid to work weekends. Kamitani apologizes for dropping Taka off alone, but he can't stay because he has training and their mother is working. The children enjoy exploring and seeing all of the different animals at the zoo. Valentine's Day arrives, and the boys debate whether they will receive chocolates, while the girls debate who they will give them to. The girls mentioned Yagi, a boy from the advanced class who they have a crush on, and attempted to give him their chocolates. Maria, on the other hand, becomes enraged and reminds the girls that giving out chocolates on this day is against school policy. Yagi concurs with Maria and instructs the girls to wait until after school. He then inquires about the babysitter club and expresses an interest in joining because he adores children. Yagi is yelled at by Maria, who tells him to speak to them himself. So Yagi tracks down Ryuichi and asks if he can come along. Everyone is perplexed because no one wants to join the babysitter club. He gladly welcomes Yagi into the club. Ryuichi makes a mental note when he sees Yagi compliment each child individually. I'm strangely trying to get on their good side. Meanwhile, Maria overhears two students say that Yagi has a strange way of looking at the kids. She dashes to the daycare and discovers Yagi with a nosebleed. Yagi's friend Mizukuen suddenly takes him away because joining the club would be bad for him. The kids start asking Maria for chocolates, but she says no because it is forbidden on this day. As a result, they all burst into tears. But then she tells them that if they can wait until tomorrow, she'll bring them the most delicious chocolate she can find, which makes them happy. Ryuichi gives Maria some chocolates and a compliment on her way home, making her blush. Ryuichi has physical education the next morning. Yusaida appears with the kids, and Ryuichi's classmates begin chasing them around the playground in order to use them as heat packs to warm themselves up. Ryuichi notices Takuma being picked up by a man dressed suspiciously, but it turns out that he is Takuma and Kazuma's father. He explains that he was dressed in that manner because he is well known and did not want to be recognized. He had hoped to spend his first day off in 6 months with his children, but he sobs as he picks up Kazuma. After numerous attempts to play with them, he gives up and walks away. While leaving the school, he is recognized and surrounded by children begging for his autograph and a picture. Fortunately, his wife arrives and saves him. She explains to him that Kazuma may be afraid of him because they were watching a movie in which he played a kidnapper. When he turns around, he sees Kazuma and Takuma, who call him Papa and invite him to play with them. This filled him with joy. While Ryuichi is putting up a flyer for the babysitter club, Kamitani approaches and asks if he can join, which surprises Ryuichi, and he goes on to say that it's because his brother Taka is present, as well as because Kotaro recruited him. Ryuichi wakes up the next day feeling heavy and sick, so the chairwoman takes Kotaro to keep the cold from spreading to him. She gives Kyuchi an extra blanket, and Kotaro assists her in preparing food and medicine for him. Ryuichi returns to the daycare after recovering, and while changing Midori's diaper, he realizes there are no wipes to clean her with. While he searches for more, she crawls away. Just then, a young man opens the door and makes a poor first impression. He had gone to the club to meet Midori, who is rumored to be his future daughter if he marries her mother. Ryuichi considers it during class, and he is as perplexed as he was when he thought Midori's mother was married. He sees the boy again when he arrives at the daycare. He informs Ryuichi that he wishes to assist Midori's mother because her husband is in heaven. When he was about to tell her how he felt, Midori begins to cry as her mother informs her that her papa will return from his trip today. When he realizes he misunderstood Mrs. Saitari, he says that if she wants to go out with her husband, he can take care of Midori while concealing the fact that he was about to confess his love for her. Kotaro notices someone in the bushes while Richie is drying his clothes and brings Ryuichi over to assist him. It turns out to be Nizu's brother, Kuen's Kichi-kun, so Ryuichi wants to call Nizu's number, but when he realizes he doesn't have his phone number, he calls Yagi, who arrives with Maria. Nizu-kun works a job while still in school because he has a large family, and his younger brother reveals that he ran away because no one would buy him again. Suddenly, his other younger brother emerges from the bush, calling Yagi a pervert. Ryuichi and Yagi heave them out of the bush after talking, and Nizu appears with the game Kichi requested, telling them they should thank father and share it with the others. Ryuichi forgets his lunch the next day at school, so Yusaida lets Kotaro bring it to him. Kotaro collides with a student and falls, spilling Ryuichi's lunch. However, the student Yusaida, who was assigned to watch over him, saves the situation. He assists Kotaro in climbing the remaining stairs, and when he arrives at reduced classroom Guitar O, he gives him his lunch. Ryuichi, on the other hand, was already stuffed from the food his classmates had given him, but he doesn't say anything because he doesn't want Kotaro's efforts to go to waste, so he picks him up to go eat lunch with him. Yuki is asked about her feelings for Ryuichi while she is talking with her friends. She blushes and asks them to remain silent. The girls then begin to compliment him on his attractiveness and personality. They express their concerns about Maria, claiming that she shouldn't be a problem because she only prioritizes her studies. But what the girls didn't realize was that Maria was passing by and heard everything. Ryuichi appears at that precise moment and inquires if she requires anything. She dismisses him and lashes out at the girls who are gossiping about her. She considers her feelings for Ryuichi as she walks away. Kirin and Kotaro approached her and asked if she wanted to play with them. Maria tells Kirin that this isn't a place to play, causing him to cry. She admits that she doesn't go to the daycare to play with the kids because Ryuichi is there. Kirin then suggests that they devise a strategy to make Maria resemble Ryuichi, oblivious to the fact that she already does. Maria agrees to the plan and follows them to his class. Kotaro enters and cuddles Ryuichi to demonstrate his acceptance and love. Kirin says he can be strict too and goes in telling Ryuichi to hit her or she'll be a bad girl after Maria says he's a little too indulgent. However, Kamitani hits her instead, and she sobs into Ryuichi's arms. Maria rushes in and tells her that it was all a misunderstanding, and that she does not hate Ryuichi. So Kirin asks if she really likes him. She turns red in the face and storms away. Ryuichi chases her down and grabs her arm, but instead of confessing his love for her, as we all expected, he simply tells her that she had a sticker on her skirt. The next day, Ryuichi discovers a love letter in his locker and wonders who left it there. Yuki witnesses him receiving it, but informs her friend that the letter was not left by her. Meanwhile, Maria arrives and tells them to stop loitering in areas where people are attempting to leave. The letter is then read aloud by one of his classmates. It was a love confession for Ryuichi, which stated the location to meet at the end. Ryuichi couldn't concentrate the next morning, and spent the rest of the day contemplating what to do. At home, the chairwoman suspects he has a cold because his face is flushed from blushing so much and advises him to take a hot bath and go to bed. He was completely lost and thought about what to tell this secret lover while Ryuichi and Kotaro were on their way to school. He runs into Maria and Yuki, who had left early to find out who gave Ryuichi the love letter. They offer to assist Ryuichi in finding Kotaro, but he is discovered by Kamitani, and we learn that Kotaro wandered into someone's yard to bring Ryuichi a lemon, because he believes he is ill and needs to recover, when, in reality, he's been acting strange because a girl likes him. Ryuichi rejects the girl who sent him the letter in the end because his priority was Kotaro. Meanwhile, Maria and Yuki were hiding in the woods, listening in on everything. Later, Ryuichi and Kotaro are invited to a festival by Kamitani and Take. They arrived appropriately attired for the occasion. They come across Yusaida, who is working a part-time job that his neighbor has asked him to do. Taka bursts into tears when he realizes he has lost his sword, so they all start looking for it. The sword does not appear, so Kamitani tells him that if he decides not to search any longer, he can play the game he wanted. Taka accepts, and when Kotaro pulls one of the ropes, the sword he lost appears. Kamitani grabs the shady worker and apologizes by giving them the newest game system. The Academy Festival had finally arrived, and for some reason, the daycare room had to take part as well. All of the children's parents will be there, as will Kirin Kieran's father. Yusaida plays a trick on him when he asks where the hot babysitter girls are. When introduced to Kamitani and Ryuichi in wigs, he quickly realizes that they are men and expresses his reluctance to leave his daughter with male babysitters. He doesn't want his daughter's innocence tarnished. Ryuichi intervenes just as he was about to leave with his daughter. He seemed to have forgotten Ryuichi was a boy, but when Midori pulls the wig and it falls off, he freaks out and becomes even more determined to pick up his daughter from daycare. Kamitani, who Kieran's father misidentifies as a girl, steps in. Midori's father arrives at that moment, guided by the boy who is in love with Midori's mother. All of the parents take a moment to reflect on how quickly their children are growing up. Kamitani's mother unexpectedly appears at the daycare and informs them that some eggs are about to hatch in the science lab, and invites them to come with and see them. The children become enthralled and rush to the laboratory. Taka's mother tried to tell them that the eggs would hatch the next day, but they ran off excited. The following day, Taka's mother arrived early and invited them into her classroom, which made Kotaro very happy. Ryuichi and Kotaro patiently wait by the incubator as the eggs hatch, and the eggs finally hatch. Later, all of the other kids come to see the chicks as well. Taka is envious because Kotaro has all the chicks, but after shouting, Taka scares them away. When winter arrived and Yusaida called in sick, he told Ryuichi that it was probably because he slept naked after his bath, so he asked Saikawa to fill in for him that day. He had no idea what he was doing, but, with the help of the children, he learns to adapt to the situation, and everything goes smoothly from there. Finally, Christmas had arrived. When Ryuichi returns home, Saikawa has prepared a special dinner for them and informs them that the chairwoman cannot join them because she has an important meeting, and he cannot either because he has some work to finish. Ryuichi had planned to put on a Santa costume his classmates help prepare, and give Kotaro his presents as his dad used to do, but when he leaves to go and change, Kotaro would not leave him alone, following him all the way into the bathroom. At that moment, the doorbell rang, and Ryuichi and Kotaro opened the door to find everyone and surprise them. Ryuichi is given a new cell phone by the chairwoman because his old one was malfunctioning. So, with everyone present, they celebrate Christmas Day, bringing the anime to a close.
How was the video? We hope it was good. If so, please check these videos. Also, please comment down your thoughts and your suggestions for future videos. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing now to show the support to our channel. We hope to see you soon with another video right in this channel. Have a nice day.